5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I strolled into the diner like a hungry hound, the only greasy spoon in this health nut town. My waitress took her time, my belly was aching. One thing on my mind, bacon. I ordered eggs with a side of toast, but she forgot what I like the most. I love bacon. Bacon.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Scafacci-verse. I am Anthony Scafacci.
I'm Ali Gigax.
And we are your hosts, and we are back for another amazing episode. And once again, we're in our emergency air-conditioned studio over here in guest room studios.
That's right, guest room studios. Yes, where the air conditioning works. It is not in a shed in the backyard.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you right now in there,
you dry
it would be.
Speaking of bacon, you cure your bacon in there.
So boiling hot in there.
Yeah.
I used to train jujitsu in there in the summer, and I would tell the people that were coming over, like, hey, dude, you got to be here at like 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
Because any later than that, it looked like a sauna in there.
Dude, you get down to your skivvies, you get real slippery.
Dude, it was so bad. And, you know, that's one of the things that for this episode, we have a great just the tip, about the heat and what to do in it.
I consider myself an expert on the subject.
Okay, and so who do we got for this for our just the tip?
Columbia Omnifreeze. And I will tell you, the Scafacci-verse podcast heartily endorses Columbia Omnifreeze.
Yeah, so
like,
I don't have any.
Works.
What's it cost for?
It's reasonably
undershirt,
priced for a base
right?
layer. Yeah, it's like $30, you know, something like that. Like, it's reasonable. And the source for this just the tip is that I'm a mailman, and here in Las Vegas, it's this whole week, it's like in the 110s.
It's gonna be 115 tomorrow.
Yeah, and 117 on Friday or Saturday. That's too many.
Yeah, no thanks.
But look at me, right? I'm here not dead.
Yeah.
Because I am a goddamn expert on how to deal with the heat. So this mostly applies to dry heat. If it's humid, this isn't going to work as well. But like evaporative cooling, that's where it's at.
Sure.
Right? So at the post office, I recently bought a camping shower, which is just a small electric pump. You charge it with USB, and it submerges into a water. I use a 2-gallon water jug, and then it has a hose that comes off it with a shower head. And I like shower out there on the street.
Yeah. You sexy bitch.
Oh, dude. I mean, I can only imagine how many people have cranked it to that video.
Dude, so hey, Scafacci-verse. Alan made a YouTube video.
It's on Facebook.
A Facebook video of him showering at work in his mailman uniform.
It's closing in to like
it's got like
50,000
almost
views.
50,000 views. Yeah. I'll post it on our page.
Yeah, share it to the page. Yeah.
Why not?
Dude.
Yeah, we gotta
imagine
do
the
this.
seed that has been spilled.
Yeah.
But
Gonna
anyway,
need
dude,
jelly in here
so
to
like,
mop that up.
So the thing about the extreme heat is like here in Vegas, when it gets that hot, you have to cover up. You can't just be exposed to the sun.
No.
You will bake. And so I wear long pants, long sleeves. And when I have the choice, that Columbia Omnifreeze base layer, that's it. That's what I'm wearing as my shirt, long sleeve Columbia Omnifreeze. And right away, like when I switch from my mailman costume into that shirt, it feels 10 degrees cooler immediately. And then when it gets wet, it holds onto the moisture a little bit and it evaporates colder than normal evaporation. And the shit works. Not only am I not suffering when it's that hot, I'm actually comfortable.
That's pretty
most
good,
of the
man.
day. It's pretty incredible.
So for anybody working out in the heat, Columbia Omnifreeze.
Yeah, dude.
That's the way to go.
It's the good stuff.
All right. So, Al, we have a pretty awesome episode. We have a guest this week. They call me Bacon from Dads with Bacon, and we are going to bring him on. His name is Aaron Ludwig, and here he is. Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Great, guys. How are you?
We are doing fine, man.
Yeah, it's nice to have like a content creative person on the show.
Yeah.
Those are always, for me, that's the most fun.
Well, I like it too because generally speaking, it makes everything a little easier because they're used to speaking and so
used to telling their story and describing things and stuff like that. And so, yeah, dude, Aaron, in the intro, your own intro tells about. Oh no, fuck, that's the other one. God damn it, dude,
Thanks, Al.
I'm doing great.
Yeah. All right. So
Why don't I shut the fuck up?
Yeah, you just go ahead and shut up. So they call me Bacon. Let's just get right to it. Why is it that they call you Bacon?
Okay. Well, yeah. No, this is okay. So I actually have two nicknames. The other one is Deuce, but I'm not going to tell you that story. I'll stick with the Bacon one.
I can guess.
Bacon. Yeah. Bacon's more fun, and it's not nearly as embarrassing. So Bacon came from. I'm 50 years old. And I want to say it was, 25 years ago or so, I was hanging out. We had this one place called Legends, which isn't around anymore, a little sports bar in Green Bay. And we would go there pretty much every single day. My buddies and I would meet there for happy hour. And we knew everybody. And there was this one bartender named Katie who was super outgoing. And one day I had very little money, because I worked in daycare at the time. So like I lived paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, that does not pay.
Yeah, no, it does not. And so I was budgeting, and I'm looking at the money that I had, and I was hungry, but I was also thirsty. And I had about $20 left. And finally I looked at Katie and I said, Katie, I need another drink or two, but I'm hungry. So can you go back? And Mike was one of our friends who was in the kitchen. I said, can you go back by Mike, ask him if he has any bacon?
Nice.
And she kind of looked at me. She looked at me and she's like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, just go ahead." I said, "I know they make up the bacon and just put it on that lamp or whatever. It's probably not fresh, but whatever. I need something to eat." I said, do that for me." And she goes, "All right." And she comes back out, and she's got like 6 or 8 strips of bacon on a plate. Gives it to me, And so that was my dinner that night.
Nice,
dude.
I've always loved bacon. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
And so the next time I came in, which was either the next day or 2 days later, something like that. At this particular restaurant, you could see from the entrance to the restaurant, you could see all the way into the bar.
Okay.
And so she could see anyone coming in. And it was dead there at that particular time. And all of a sudden I hear, "It's bacon!" and like she just yells it, and that was it. And then everyone just started calling me Bacon.
I like it, man. That's a good way to get a nickname.
That is good. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's the way to do it. So you mentioned you live in Green Bay. So we should billboard this episode as like we have the owner of an NFL franchise on our show. Dude, so what's that like? Does the town council get involved with the Green Bay Packers? Like, how does that work as just a citizen of the area?
Yeah, no, it's so that's an interesting. First of all, I don't actually own any stock in the team. Now we have season tickets.
Okay.
My family has season
that's
tickets.
pretty great.
So in that way, I support the team, which is a lot more expensive than just buying a piece of stock.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the way it works. See the way the team is set up, it's set up as a nonprofit organization. So it's not a Dallas Cowboys with a Jerry Jones owner or anything like that. And everyone says, well, it's owned by the town, it's owned by the city. There's a board of directors. If you buy a piece of stock, which you can't buy any time. They do that at certain times when they just want to raise, if they have certain projects they want to fund. And it doesn't happen often. But it's really just symbolic. It's your way. A lot of people who don't have season tickets, it's their way of saying they can support the team.
That's cool.
They get a piece of paper. They can frame it. It's not worth anything. You can't sell it. In fact, if the team ever got to a point where they would have to move or wouldn't be able to exist, they would just have to fold. From what I understand,
gotcha.
they actually aren't even allowed to sell to somebody else.
Wow.
It's just, okay,
Interesting.
we're done. Now I might not be completely accurate on that, but it's not like a typical team where, like, if Jerry Jones wants to get out of the business and wants to sell the Cowboys, he can find someone to give him $10 billion and take that and go on his merry way. We can't do that here in Green Bay. So that's kind of the big difference. And, they say it's a publicly owned team. It is, but,
It's great because, it's obviously a small town, certainly by NFL standards. And to have that level of buy-in in the community, it's fantastic, man. Sports needs more of that.
Absolutely. And I in fact today is opening of training camp. So
Nice.
everything, it just got real.
That's cool.
As they say.
I have, before we get to why we brought you here, I have one more nonsense Wisconsin question for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite cheese?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I gotta know, dude.
This fucking show, let me tell you.
Yeah,
You can say pub cheese. It's okay. We won't judge you.
no, I'm not gonna say that. That is a good question. I mean,
See, dude, he said it's a good question. You can eat shit.
I didn't.
Well,
I didn't send him this one on the prep sheet though.
I've honestly I've never thought about it. I mean, usually I get American or cheddar.
A cheddar's a good Wisconsin answer.
I mean,
all
cheddar,
right, we'll go with that.
But I feel like I should have more knowledge on this.
See, dude, we got the hard hitting topics
Oh
here.
my god!
Yeah.
All right, I relinquish the floor.
Every episode, my trust goes just a little down with you.
I yield the balance of my time.
My lord. Okay, so they call me Bacon TV. It started as a streaming community for games, right? And so when did you start that, and what games were you playing back at the time you started?
Well, I started it, number one, just because I wanted to connect with other gamers. I mean, it's just a way to build that community. Growing up, I had a ton of friends who gamed. I mean, all my friends and I played video games. And as we got older, a lot of them kind of drifted away from it, and I still stayed with it. It's so all the friends that I had, I mean, I'm still friends with all of them, don't get me wrong. But they're not into games like I still am. And so I just wanted more or less to connect. And it also, part of it was because I have kids now, and my kids are into games, especially my son, but even my daughter is into games. And their mom is into more retro games. Like we still play. She and I just got divorced in December, but we're still thank you. We're still very close. It's been a very hard year, but we're still close. We still, like, for New Year's, we did our usual family Mario Kart tournament kind of thing, which we always do. So it was more, I started it because my kids were into YouTube, my kids were into Twitch, and it was a way to just stay connected to them, and kind of meet them where they're at.
It's awesome, man.
A lot of parents, I think, try to kind of force what they like to do onto their kids, and I didn't want to do that. Thankfully, they liked what I did anyway. So we both love video.
That's because
all three of us love video games.
As Gen X level parents, like we actually have cool hobbies, unlike the other shit.
Yeah.
Dude, a video gaming, it's cool. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. Thinking about what we do and what you guys do with, like, college football, the college football game by EA Sports and all that stuff. It's like, my mom, a lot of times, because I was an only child, would play video games with me.
Nice.
But she wasn't like super into it or anything like that. And I started to realize, though, like, I am really probably from the first generation that grew up with video games.
Well, I was just about to talk about that with you, is that our generation, I remember Pac-Man, essentially, like, in the arcades. That was like a little before me. But generally speaking, like, we grew up, Defender, Donkey Kong. Those were kind of the games that started the Atari 2600. And then from there, I had ColecoVision.
Oh, ooh la la.
Yeah. And then, these gaming companies that kind of came and went. And then eventually, obviously, like Nintendo. Right. And so we probably played a lot of the same games on Nintendo, Castlevania, Mario, so on and so forth.
Oh my God, dude, I lost so much sleep to Castlevania.
Yeah, or Metroid, those games, those retro style games. And, as we grew up, like I said, I'd imagine we probably had almost the exact same childhood in terms of gaming. Tecmo Bowl, things like that. And all the way to today. So, do you have, like, an all-time, like, retro, say, like, Mount Rushmore of, like, retro games?
Yeah, I was thinking about that because, you mentioned, you kind of gave me a heads up you're going to ask that. I mean, I could talk about this for probably the next 5 hours.
Okay, well, we
Sweet.
don't
I'll
have
try-
5 hours. But
Yeah, we don't have 5 hours.
Let's
so,
give it a couple of minutes.
I will. Yeah, I'll give it a couple minutes. Okay, so now I'm a big sports gamer, but I'm gonna try. I could have put 4 sports games on here. I didn't want to do that because I do like games overall. So, but I'll start with Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
hell
to me,
yeah.
Mario Kart is one of my favorite racing series, and I feel like Mario Kart 64 kind of started all that.
Dude, and not only that, but it took advantage of the 3D rendering that was kind of innovated in the N64. Dude, great choice.
Well, and that it is a timeless game. If you play it today,
right,
it's
it still
just as
kicks
good.
ass, yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's actually the game. My kids, I think, enjoy playing that one more than Mario Kart the deluxe for the Switch. We have both, but when we have our Mario Kart tournaments, we do it on the N64 that I have
that's
still at the
awesome.
house. So yeah, and the second one, GoldenEye 007.
Hell yeah, dude.
That would have made mine.
As soon as you said N64, that's immediately the game I think of.
Oh yeah, and to me that was the first one I can think of. Now you probably could have other historians on here talking more about. Maybe there's a game I missed, but thinking about like shooters and multiplayer, that was the first one that I ever remember.
So good.
And we spent so many pre-bar parties, back when I was in my early 20s, before we'd go out and hit the bars at 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock or whatever. We'd hang out for 3 hours and play that game. And I actually had a friend of mine who lives in Milwaukee. He played it so much. I didn't play it this much, but he played it so often that he had all the maps memorized. And so when we would play against him, he would grab, whatever weapon, and we stopped playing with a grenade launcher because he would pick the grenade launcher, he'd hide in a corner, and he would just watch where you were going and knew exactly where you were.
Right, because you could see the other screens. Yeah.
Yep. All of a sudden, you see this little grenade come bouncing by your feet. And you're like, son of a bitch, and there's Steve racking up another kill. And so I actually stopped even paying attention. Like when he and my friend Brad and I, the three of us would play, I just tried to beat Brad. I knew I wasn't going to beat Steve.
See, when we played with our buddy Trevor, you always knew where he was going to be because he would go into where the bathrooms were and he'd stand up on top of the toilet and squat down. And like, oh, Trevor's in the toilet again. All right, let's go kill him.
Nice. All right, so then my third one, Tecmo Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That
all
was
time great.
I am a nerd, and Alex, I know you do. You do like your for college football games. You do like your kind of your stories and things
absolutely,
like that. Yeah. There were games that I was doing that for on the Commodore 64.
Oh my god!
Not Tecmo Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was a game called Front Page Sports Football for the Commodore 64, and it was one of the first ones I remember where you could actually play out a season and then go into play multiple seasons.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. I never had a Commodore 64.
Yeah. So, but Tecmo Super Bowl to me was like the first mainstream game where you could actually play, the full season, keep your track of your stats and all that stuff. And that's one of the things I loved about it. And then plus when they I would have put Tecmo Bowl in there, but I couldn't play as the Packers. You didn't have all the teams.
Yeah, I think it only had like 16, right, or something like that.
But something like that. It was limited. So like for me, Tecmo Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Dude, what a fantastic choice. These are 3 bangers. I can't wait to hear what number 4 is.
Yeah, and then number 4 is NHL 94.
Oh, yeah. So I got the greatest NHL 94.
Dude,
so
Genesis, I think we played
that was
right?
on Sega Genesis. And my buddy Eddie and me, we played full seasons. And I was the Rangers. And he was the LA Kings and Gretzky.
Yep.
And this is actually before I watched hockey. It was that game that taught me hockey and got me into hockey to begin with. And
it's great.
I tell everybody, like, if I had an N64, I'd still play that game today. Like the fact that since then, to my knowledge, I've never heard anybody say anything. There's never been another hockey game that has been just that dialed in as NHL 94. That game was amazing.
Dude.
Yeah, I feel like everybody I talk to, especially who's into hockey video games, says that's their GOAT. I mean, is NHL 94. And I actually, one of my best friends, when he got married and then they had their son, who was his oldest, he went out and bought one of those mini Sega Genesis systems,
Uh-huh.
and he bought two games. One was Sonic,
Right.
Yeah.
the original Sonic, and the other was NHL '94.
That
Because he
kicks
wanted,
ass.
to teach his son how
Yeah.
to play that. So I mean,
what was the
yeah.
what was the hockey game on Nintendo where you had a skinny guy who was fast,
Was
you had a
that
fat
Blades
guy
of
who was.
Steel?
I think it was Blades of Steel.
Well,
Or was that, or just
I don't know.
Nintendo hockey?
It may have been Nintendo Hockey.
That might
Nintendo,
have been.
and what's funny is when you talked about how it got you into how the game got you into hockey, I love watching playoff hockey. I'm still not a huge hockey fan. I grew up basically, football fan, and my dad never watched. I kind of watched whatever my dad watched back then, and he never watched hockey back in the '80s because he said it was fighting. Guys fighting. And he wasn't into that. So I didn't grow up a hockey fan, but I still love playing that game. Like I
yeah.
understand the game enough where I can play it and enjoy it. And I have a friend of mine here in Green Bay who I don't know if he still does these or not, but every year he would host an NHL '94 tournament.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I should
Yeah.
fly up there and play in that shit, dude. I was
Oh yeah,
really
I'll have
good
to,
at
I'll have
that
to
game.
ask him if he still does it because he actually moved it from Green Bay to Minneapolis
Yeah,
a number of years ago. So he'll go over there.
That's
He would
cool.
go over there every year and hold that tournament.
Dude,
so
in a similar. Go ahead. Oh,
well, no, and
finish it.
I was just gonna say, and I want to add two honorable mentions here,
Okay.
real
Please,
quick.
please.
Okay, because these were tough ones. RBI baseball.
yeah.
Dude.
And there's one that I play right now on because I have one of those mini original NES systems at the house, and I play this one called I don't know if you ever heard of this Baseball Simulator 1000.
No, I don't know
Ever
that
heard-
one.
I remember Baseball Stars. That was like a really good.
That
game.
was a good game
that
too,
was
dude.
that was another one
Yeah.
too. But Baseball Simulator 1000 was one of the first ones I remember where you could create your own players. So you give
That's
them,
cool.
ratings and things like that, and it had different stadiums, and it was weird. There was no MLB license, so it was like your name was Bob or your name was
Yeah.
Jim,
Right,
or
right.
whatever. It was a very generic thing, but it had like 4 or 6 different stadiums, and one was like a space stadium.
Nice.
So it was literally in outer space. And if you
That's
got the
cool.
ball up high enough, you would just moonshots. And it was really cool because you had those different stadiums with different elements, and different atmospheric things. And, some were a little bit more pitchers ballparks versus hitters ballparks. And it had that different dimension. And then plus you could play a season. So they were shorter seasons. But yeah, that's another one. I wanted to add or at least one baseball game, and then I didn't have room, so I'm like, I'll do that one.
Yeah. So
Great choices.
so now as like us, you're an older gamer.
Yeah.
And we have all these new games like CFB 27, which came out a month ago. Madden, GTA is coming out pretty soon.
Yeah,
What is your take on these newer games? How has your gaming changed over the years?
Yeah, I was thinking about this one too, and I mean, there's a lot of directions I could go with it. I mean, there's the obvious, just the technological advances and graphical advances, the way games have changed, compared to the 16-bit and 8-bit days and all that kind of stuff. That's obvious, but to me, I mean, microtransactions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck those.
yeah.
That's been
Yeah.
I know you could probably go on, Alex, for
Yeah.
a while on that,
Yeah.
just from college football to college football game, but just it's a different experience. I'm going to take an opportunity to sound like an old man screaming at kids, for walking on my lawn here for a minute, but or Grandpa Simpson yelling at
Good.
the
Screw
clouds.
those
But-
kids.
yeah, exactly. But just the overall experience of playing games. Like I even look at my kids, and specifically my son, who, in a way, games are great for him because he does have friends who he doesn't go to school with anymore. They go to different schools now.
Yeah.
And this offers him a way to connect with them and stay connected where he can play with them online.
Sure.
But for me growing up, it was there was no internet, so it was all just a big social experience. If I played with my friends, it was
They had to come over.
I was sitting next
Yeah.
to him. I was sitting
Yeah.
we were sitting on the couch or sitting on the floor, and I remember playing wrestling games, and my buddy and I, Brad and I, would be tag team partners, and it was just like, oh wow, excuse me.
It's okay.
Those kinds of things, the social aspects are different. I realize there's still social aspects playing online, but it's just different. The arcade's not being a big thing now anymore. So Whereas back then you could go to an arcade and you could play against other people. Now you play against other people, but it's online and
So,
it's very
I wanted to ask you about
impersonal.
that actually. Since you bring
Yeah.
it up, did you do arcade gaming as well? Because that was a big part of our childhood.
That was a big part of our adulthood while we were at work.
I did and I didn't. There were certain restaurants that my family and I would go to. Like I remember there's a place right across from Lambeau Field called Crow's West, and every Friday night back when I was younger, we would go and meet my friend Brad and his family for like Friday night fish. But Brad and I would spend the entire time over by their arcade game. And usually for a while it was Elevator Action. I think for a while it
that's a
was
good one.
Spy Hunter. Elevator Action was fantastic. I
Yeah.
still love that game. But Spy Hunter, I mean they only had one. So it was whatever, and you hoped no one else was there. But if no one else was there, we were on there for a half hour until our parents came and told us it was time to eat,
Right.
Um, there were a few arcades like in the local mall that I would go to every once in a while. But I guess for me, the arcade experience wasn't as much of an influence, but just the idea that you had those places, whereas our kids don't necessarily have them. I mean, Dave and Buster's that's an arcade, but I
It's
don't
not
know.
the
It's just
same.
It
though.
is
not the same. No, it's not the same. I mean, you can't just set your quarters on there and be like, okay, I get
Right.
next.
I got winner. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta set your
got
credit
winner.
card on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a credit card on there.
On that note, I know that if my co-host Anthony was putting together his Mount Rushmore, it would include a console video game from the arcade, NBA Jam.
Oh yeah, that was definitely, in my opinion, was
yeah.
maybe the greatest coin operated. That or Cyberball.
Cyberball was so cool.
Cyberball was amazing.
Yeah, we played a lot of Cyberball.
And it's funny though because like how you brought up GoldenEye, that was, I can remember kind of the first big multiplayer game where you could have 4 players hanging out together, sitting around doing whatever, and you could play GoldenEye for like literally like the entire day, and everybody would just keep playing. And so like NBA Jam, I can't remember if that was the first 4-player game. It probably wasn't.
Gauntlet, I think, came
Gauntlet
out before that.
was big, and they had a John Elway football. Or maybe it was Joe Montana, but you had a flick stick to throw.
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which one that was.
Dude,
I don't
good
remember which
memory.
one either, but yeah.
But you would flick the stick to pass it.
Yeah, dude, I forgot
And it had like
about
a little spring on
that. Spring, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they should add that back to the games today. Like your controller now, your Xbox controller just has a little flick
Right.
stick.
Yeah, dude.
I'd be into that, right? For the retro gamers. What kind of passing do you want? Flick stick, right? But yeah, I mean, like all those games, they were a big part of my. I grew up in an arcade pretty
Right.
much. So
Sure.
my mom would give me like $5, and I had to learn how to make that $5 last 11 days. And so I'd be there on
Right.
one quarter playing whatever game could play the longest.
And
because
people
that was
ask
how,
us, like, growing up in Vegas, were you like in casinos all the time? And for us, we kind of were because, like, the Bally's arcade.
Yeah, it was. Oh,
dude, we spent so much time there.
Yeah. I mean, and so so gaming as a whole for me, it's changed, but not all that much. It's just now I just do it in my house.
Yeah. So, Aaron,
Sure.
what are your big games that you're playing now, and what kind of content are you putting out?
Yeah, so as far as content, I'm trying to get back into it again with the last year that I've had. I kind of got away from it. Certain times in your life when things change,
Of course.
it's like okay, I didn't want anything to do with it. A lot of times, sometimes had trouble getting out of bed. So, I'm trying to get back into college football. 27.
Coach mode, bro. Let
hell
me tell you,
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was pretty
it's
good.
really good.
Is it okay?
Oh, yeah,
All
it's
right,
really
I'll have
good.
to. I'll check it. I mean, I'm looking forward to Madden. Again, as a sports gamer, NBA 2K is always. Every once in a while I'll put on. I still have NBA 2K19 for my Xbox
Nice.
One
Yep.
that I created one of my like a dream team where I had Michael Jordan on it and Larry Bird and Giannis
Right on.
and like from all these different generations that I put on. So I enjoy doing that. There's a game on the PC that I play called SWAT 4. I don't know if you've ever heard of,
No.
of that one. And now it escapes me. What is it? Sierra? It's an old game.
Okay.
So I don't even think the company is around anymore that made it. But it's Yeah, and they had SWAT 1, 2, and 3, which I wasn't really into any of those. But then SWAT 4 came around, and it's one of those games where that, and again, it's one of the first ones I can remember. Obviously, you play a member of SWAT, of the SWAT unit in LA, and you have a bunch of these different levels that you have to go through. But um, you know, older games, there are times, depending on what the game is, there are times that you can learn like patterns of where the enemy is going to be. This is one of the first ones I remember where the enemy isn't always in the same place. And
That's cool.
yeah, and it that fascinated me, and it's just a game that's always stuck. So it's SWAT 4, and then they have what's called the Stechkov Syndicate, which is like an add-on that I have both of those. So
We have a cutting board in my kitchen that has the handle on it, and we use that when we're going to play SWAT.
yeah, yeah. So that's one of the ones that I play quite a bit of. And then I mean I have the retro ones, the Tecmo Super Bowl that I go to. We have baseball. That if I just want quicker games, I'll do that. The problem with some of the sports games nowadays, and I guess this is going back to how things have changed, you could play a game of Tecmo Super Bowl in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I play a game of Madden, it takes an hour. So it's like, I don't always have an hour that I can just sit down. And now that I'm getting more used to my new life that I haven't had in 15 years, it's like now I can, get things maybe where I'm streaming a little more regularly. So
Nice.
All right, so Aaron, why don't you tell our audience how to find you? Where can they subscribe to your channels, and let everybody know?
Yeah, so I'm working on the website right now. Hopefully that's up by August 1st, which is, they call me bacon.tv, as in television. They call me bacon.tv. And then pretty much any Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, they call me Bacon TV.
Nice.
Good
stuff.
All right, Aaron. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. Taking that trip down memory lane into retro gaming, because I knew that would be a hot topic for us to talk about. So, we're going to let you go, and just want to say thanks, and come back onto the show whenever you want, man.
For sure. Absolutely. Have me on anytime, guys.
All right,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
Bye. All right, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, we did it. Another good interview.
I was happy.
Screw you for not wanting me to ask that cheese question. He said it was a good question.
Dude, I'm not saying it wasn't a good question. Right?
No, neither is he.
But
he said it was a good question.
I can always count on you to just go off. The thing is that, it caught him by surprise.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is,
and that does kind of undermine the prep sheet.
Yeah.
The purpose of the
prep
prep
sheet. That you make me do, by the way.
Yeah, but I felt like he's from Wisconsin. He's going to have it chambered.
Dude, next time just start asking math questions so they could maybe solve it. That would.
If he was from, I don't know, somewhere where they're famous
MIT?
for math, then I would.
All right. So, hey, do we have a sponsor, a closing sponsor for this amazing episode?
We do. It's Beef Curtains Deli.
Perfect. We're dealing with bacon. Now we got beef curtains. Right. Yeah.
Come on down and enjoy Beef Curtains, home to the tangiest roast beef in Revere. The meat is always the main attraction at Beef Curtains, and we know we'll be able to satisfy your hunger. And don't worry, our meat is properly aged. Let us know how pink you like it. Available with or without cheese. Hey, cheese.
For Anthony Scafacci,
I'm Alan Gigak.
This has been a balls deep production of the Scafacciverse podcast. We are out.